Coming up on this episode of Chasing Adventure. The skies are clear and the perfect Pilbara weather is back. So we've spent about 2.5 hours now walking 2.5 kilometre round trip through all the close river crossings that we have to cross, including the one that's just down the road from camp here, and it's just simply too deep to cross today. And we've all come to terms with the fact that we're staying here for another night. We're going to have to reassess in the morning, but I think it's likely that we're going to have to push through in the morning. So we're going to head down to the rapids, jump in for a bit of a swim, a bit of a relax, a few beers. Okay, so it's finally time to cross the big river crossing that we need to get out of here after 5 days.
Ready? Sure? You'll be right, you'll get through.
A little bit nervous. Here goes nothing.
I can hear it coming in.
Oh no!
Well, after the first plunge, it was quite nerve-wracking. Floor, the river was firmer than I thought it was going to be.
We've still got a big crossing up ahead. 5 days later, we are finally out of the George River area and back onto something that resembles a road. Glad to be freed from a 500 square metre patch of mud and dirt. It's been one heck of a drive getting out of here. A few nervous moments, a little bit of water in the car, but the trip's not over yet. Time to head back to Karratha, regroup, restock, and move on to the next part. Day 4 here. We spent 3 nights camping and landlocked in by the George River, but today we've finally come across some weather that we expect to see in this area. These blue skies, the red rock and the green spinifex, and the contrast that they all bring together is exactly why we came to visit the Pilbara region, and is very unique to this landscape. And I'll say it again that we're very fortunate to be here with the supplies and gear that we have that enable us to stay here very comfortably, both when it's landlocked and wet and raining, but also the weather that we see today. It's something that a lot of people don't get to see, especially somewhere so remote as we are today. But we've done our morning walk down to the riverbanks of the river where we have to cross to get out, and again, it's just too deep to cross this morning. It has dropped about 4 or 5 inches overnight, but it's just not enough. And we're not going to be dropping all of our cruisers and our trailers into the river when it is this high. So unfortunately, that is going to delay a whole lot of plans, including some of the plans we have for my dad to fly out tomorrow morning, which is a flight he may be missing now, and also some friends that are flying in to join us for the last week of the trip. But it's moments like these unplanned events that really make a trip an adventure. Something out of the ordinary, something you don't expect, but a story that you'll be able to tell for years to come. So today we've got the sun out, we're all going to enjoy some nice warm weather. We're going to dry out all of our gear that's still very soaked from the last few days. Solar panels out, we're going to charge the batteries up, have a nice relaxing day, have a swim in the river. We'll reassess the levels this afternoon, and we'll go from there. But otherwise, we're all having a great time. Morale has definitely boosted with this nice weather. We're looking forward to see what the day and the rest of the week brings.
This is deep, Nathan.
So going for a midday walk now. Still a little bit concerned about that first crossing back there. It's still very deep, but we're going to walk all the way to the 3rd crossing, which is another really long, deep crossing, and see what we're looking at. But we're still unsure as to whether we're going to leave this afternoon or first thing tomorrow morning, depending on how much that water drops and how confident we are that base is solid to drive on. This was the first time that our whole group had walked this 2.5 kilometre trip to the 3 main water crossings in the George Gorge area.
Yeah, that's it over there.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Straight line?
Well, you come out here and head aim for pretty much that small tree there, just to the right of it. This is it.
This is the third crossing from camp. It may be shallower than the first, but it is long. Keeping in mind that when we entered 5 days ago, this was another bone dry crossing with not a drop of water in sight.
Oh, pay for it, I don't care about that.
Yeah, but I don't want you to pay for a flight on Saturday and then it's the same thing. Having walked the troublesome crossings as a group, it was time to discuss our options. We weren't leaving anyone behind, so unless everyone was comfortable in crossing, we weren't heading out.
Pressure's putting this water through. Yeah.
The less water goes through, the slower the rate of decrease. And that first one needs a whole lot more decrease before we're all going to get through it. Many options were discussed and we had time to think about what to do on the quiet walk back to camp. We revisited some areas that could bypass the main crossing, but they just weren't viable. Steep entries, a very uneven rocky base, and logs and trees that blocked the paths just weren't worth the damage risk to our vehicles and campers. So we've spent about 2.5 hours now walking 2.5 kilometre round trip through all the close river crossings that we have to cross, including the one that's just down the road from camp here, and it's just simply too deep to cross today, and a few of our crew just aren't happy crossing it, so we've spent hours down there trying to form the right route that we're going to need to take when we do eventually cross it. We've also had a look at some other options which just aren't viable, so we've all come to terms with the fact that we're staying here for another night. We're going to have to reassess in the morning, but I think it's likely that we're going to have to push through in the morning. Even if it only has dropped a short amount of time, we just need to get out of here and back to some sort of civilization before continuing on with our trip. But for the time being, we do have to enjoy what we've got here. So we're going to head down to the rapids, jump in for a bit of a swim, bit of a relax, a few beers, and we'll enjoy the night that we have, another nice clear sky.
Not really here for a good time, but if you're up for drinks and a good crowd, raise your glass to the sky. Let's toast to that. All these people can stare. I don't care about that. This is my pity party. I'm gonna cry all night and I'll flip the bird at the guys. I don't need nobody. This is my pity party. I'll do just what I want, yeah. I'll dance on top of the bar. I won't come down on it. I'll just do
A few beers turned into a few more, and before we knew it, the sun was setting. And once again, we couldn't ask for a better backdrop to watch the last light fade over the ranges. So it's day 5 now, stranded on this patch of land by the side of the George River, and today's the day we're going to give the river crossings a go and try and make our way out of here. I can't count how many times we've crossed that water crossing on foot, and we're going to do it again this morning. We're going to set up plenty of safety gear around the vehicles, but obviously the first vehicle being my 200 series Land Cruiser is going to take the biggest risk by going through and seeing if we can make it across the deep and long crossing. But for the meantime, we're going to take our time, have some breakfast, make sure the cars are fully packed, ready to go, lower the tyre pressures down a little bit further, and see what the day brings. Okay, so it's finally time to cross the big river crossing that we need to get out of here after 5 days. Me being the only vehicle without a trailer, also being the vehicle with the most power and the biggest tyres, is going to go first, unfortunately. But not without some safety precautions. So we've got the winch rope set up at the front. We're going to go set up a tree trunk protector on the other side, just around anything we can. Just in case we get more than halfway across, we'll use the winch. But if we do get stuck halfway or any deep points at the start, we're going to also hook up quite a long extension strapped to the back of the vehicle onto the 76er, which if needs be, we'll be able to reverse it back and pull me out backwards. But we've walked it more times than we can count. We're going to do it again now. We've got a couple of markers. We're going to have to get people to sit on rocks throughout the crossing just so we don't hit them a little bit too big. And we've got a line marked out. Well, I've chosen my path through the right hand side. It's definitely going to be deep at the first third, but hopefully it will there'll be enough traction on the rocks there for us to carry through. But we'll get set up, we'll walk it again, see how we go.
Ready? Sure? You'll be right, you'll get through.
You ready?
Nothing to worry about. Yeah, I'll give you a beep.
Yeah, I got the UHF going. Well, time's come. A little bit nervous. I'm sure we're just making this out to be bigger than it is, but it sure is a big water crossing, there's no doubt about that. And there is a reason that those signs say don't come through here after some rainfall. But I'm first up, we're set up, we've got the right gear. What we can do now is hope the cruiser pulls through.
Alright mate, when you're ready, I'll be sitting here in reverse low. I'm ready to pull you out if need be, but you're going to be fine.
Here goes nothing.
I'm stopping here.
Thanks, man. That was good. That was good. Yes.
Anything outside?
Not that I can see. That wasn't too bad at all, actually. Thanks, man. Yes. We are across. Oh. No water inside by the looks of it either. That was fun. And it's nice to be freed from the jail that is the George River. Oh. So I'm through now, got a little bit of water in the passenger side of the doors, but overall going to be happy with that. The cruiser performed really, really well. Turns out it doesn't look as deep as it is, but when you're walking through water that's almost up to chest height, it does make you a little nervous, and given the length of the crossing as well, just one that we weren't planning on taking a risk with. But anyway, we've got the next 76er down, but this one we're towing, so we're going to hook that snatch strap back onto the back of my car, and I'm going to give it a bit of a helping hand with a bit of a pull. So should be a good drive. Bit of a straighter line, maybe a little bit deeper, but we'll see how we go. Yep, we're ready, so we want to put some tension on that rope then.
Let's go.
Oh no! Yep. The 200 series was up, towing the mighty T-van. However, watching us cross and having the safety straps attached, we were pretty confident.
Right, got tension. Hold it there, slow it down.
Well, after the first plunge, it was quite nerve-wracking, but once it smoothed out, I thought that the floor of the river was firmer than I thought it was going to be, and eventually it got shallower, so really happy.
No problems, that was a good drive. Glad we all got across relatively dry, some more than others.
If this is the worst, then I am not disappointed.
So the first big river crossing is done, we've completed it, all cars through. Both the 200s got just a little bit of water inside, 76 got a little bit more water inside, but forgot to turn the aircon on to recirculate, so it was a bit like a shovel, just scooping up all the water and diverting it into the footwells. But overall, we all got through safely. Now we've got to keep going, We've still got a big crossing up ahead, just a long, relatively shallow crossing, and then we've got unknown after that. So 10 kilometers of forward driving to get out of here. Hopefully there's no more surprises, and we're back on track again. Okay, so this is a pretty long crossing. This one, not too bad in depth wise. We've walked it a couple of times now last few days.
You want to wait by the water's edge in case you need a helping hand, or keep away in case you need a reverse?
That bow wave going and just remain behind it. Gives you a bit of a void. A little bit deeper here, but nothing to worry about. Keep that momentum up. Easily done. These aerial shots really give a perspective on how long these crossings are. But we have done it. Now we've done it 5 days later. We are finally out of the George River area and back onto something that resembles a road, heading back towards Karratha to restock, drop off Dad for a new flight, and pick up some friends to join us for the last week of the adventure. But am I glad to see a road again and glad to be freed from a 500 square metre patch of mud and dirt. What do you reckon?
It's a sense of freedom and relief.
Yeah, it's been one heck of a drive getting out of here. A few nervous moments, a little bit of water in the car, but overall it really has defined the trip, and it's the ultimate sense of adventure, I reckon. Do you agree?
Absolutely. We've done it.
Yeah. So, trip's not over yet. Time to head back to Karratha, regroup, restock, and move on to the next part. Next time on Chasing Adventure. The evidence of our recent storm was still hanging around with water all over the roads and the Rio Tinto railway access track. Mount Bruce Road, and to find out that it's closed. So we're going to have to backtrack a whole lot back through some of these nasty wet roads. Karijini is a very popular place for tourists in the Pilbara region. The park is filled with many hikes and walks that take you down into several deep, narrow gorges with flowing fresh water. The rain didn't stop following us, our second day in Karajini and it poured down for most of the day. We moved on to head south towards WA's highest peak, Mount Mihari. The roads again were waterlogged and we made the most of the photo opportunity. Not only is Mount Mihari the official highest peak in WA, but it's also only accessible by 4-wheel drive. The track provides an awesome ridgeline drive that has views I haven't seen anywhere else in WA. It wasn't long before we made it to the top, signed the book and enjoyed this magical landscape in the best light. It was a very early 4:30 AM and wake up for a few of us this morning. The views from the peak are already amazing, but add the right lighting and the images are just spectacular. Stay tuned for the last episode of Chasing Adventure.